My friends, tonight I want to share with you the most profound secret that separates those who merely dream from those who truly create their reality. It's not what you think it is. It's not about wanting more intensely or visualizing more clearly or affirming with greater passion. No, my dear friends, the secret lies in something that seems paradoxical, something that challenges everything you've been taught about getting what you want. The secret is in letting go. You see, there's a divine paradox at the heart of all manifestation, and until you understand this paradox, you'll continue to chase your desires like a dog chasing its own tail, exhausting yourself in circles while your dreams remain perpetually out of reach. Tonight, I'm going to reveal to you what I call sacred detachment, the art of holding your desire so lightly that it has no choice but to materialize in your world. But first, let me ask you something that might disturb you. Are you suffocating your desires with your desperation? You know exactly what I mean, don't you? That tight grip in your chest when you think about what you want, that constant checking, that endless wondering when will it come, that feeling of panic when circumstances seem to contradict your desire. My friends, that very desperation is the wall standing between you and your fulfilled life. Here's what most people don't understand. The universe operates on a frequency of allowing, not forcing. When you're desperately attached to your desire, you're broadcasting a frequency of lack, of not having, of needing. But consciousness can only give you more of what you're being, not what you're wanting. Think about this carefully. Have you ever noticed that the things you care about least tend to manifest most easily? That job you applied for on a whim, that person who showed interest when you weren't looking for love, that money that came when you weren't desperately counting every penny. This isn't coincidence. This is the law in action. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The very act of desperately wanting something creates a vibration of separation from it. You're literally pushing away what you want most through the intensity of your wanting. The universe doesn't hear your words. It responds to your vibration. And the vibration of desperate wanting is identical to the vibration of not having. Let me explain this in terms that will revolutionize your understanding of manifestation. Everything in existence is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, all energy. The key to manifestation is not to vibrate at the frequency of wanting something, but to vibrate at the frequency of having it. When you're attached to an outcome, when you're desperately needing it to happen, you're vibrating at the frequency of lack. But when you're in sacred detachment, you're vibrating at the frequency of abundance, of knowing, of trust. This frequency is magnetic to your desires because it matches the frequency of already having them. Think of it this way. If you were already living your desired life, would you be desperately trying to manifest it? Of course not. You'd be peacefully enjoying it. That peaceful enjoyment, that state of having, that's the vibration that creates your reality. Not the desperate wanting, but the satisfied having. Now let me explain this in terms of vibration, because everything in this universe is vibration, including your desires and your resistance to them. When you're attached to an outcome, you're vibrating at the frequency of I don't have this and I need it. That vibration of need, of lack, of desperation, actually repels what you want. But when you're in sacred detachment, you're vibrating at the frequency of I know this is mine, and I trust the timing of its arrival. This is the vibration of allowing, of trust, of inner knowing. This frequency magnetizes your desires to you effortlessly. Imagine you're tuning a radio. When you're desperately attached, you're creating static. Your signal is unclear, full of interference. But when you detach, you find the clear frequency where your desire can transmit purely into your reality. The universe is like a giant mirror, reflecting back to you whatever frequency you're broadcasting. If you're broadcasting desperation, you get circumstances that make you feel more desperate. If you're broadcasting trust and knowing, you get circumstances that confirm your trust and knowing. Your emotions are your guidance system, telling you whether you're in alignment with your desires or pushing them away. When you think about your desire and feel anxiety, worry, or desperation, you're out of alignment. But when you think about your desire and feel peace, excitement, or gentle anticipation, you're in the receiving mode. This is crucial. You cannot receive what you want while you're in the vibration of not having it. It's vibrationally impossible. The universe must match your vibration, not your wishes. So your work is not to make things happen, but to align yourself with the vibration of having what you want. Most people get this backwards. They think they'll feel better when they get what they want. But the truth is, they must feel better first. Then they'll get what they want. The feeling comes first, then the manifestation. Always. Your emotions are constantly giving you feedback about your vibration. When you feel good, you're in alignment with your desires. When you feel bad, you're out of alignment. It's that simple. Your work is to find ways to feel good, regardless of current circumstances. Because feeling good is the vibration that magnetizes good things to you. Here's something profound. Every feeling state you can experience already exists within you. Joy, love, abundance, freedom, peace. These aren't things you need to get from the outside world. They're states of consciousness you can access right now through your imagination and assumption. When you imagine your desire fulfilled and really feel it as real, you're not pretending. You're accessing a dimension of consciousness where it's already true. That feeling state is the seed of your manifestation. The stronger and more consistent that feeling, the faster it manifests in your physical world. But here's the key. You must be able to access that feeling state without needing the physical manifestation to justify it. If you can only feel abundant when you see money in your bank account, you'll never manifest abundance. You must feel abundant first, then the money comes. This is why detachment is so crucial. When you're attached to the physical manifestation, you can't access the pure feeling state of having it. But when you detach from the need to see it physically, you can live in the feeling of it completely. Sacred detachment is really the art of allowing. It's about getting out of your own way and letting the universe deliver your desires through the path of least resistance. But how do you allow? How do you stop interfering with your own good? First, you must understand that your only job is to be a vibrational match to what you want. You don't need to figure out how it will happen, when it will happen, or who will be involved. Your job is simply to embody the feeling of having it now, then step back and allow the universe to orchestrate the details. Think of yourself as placing an order with the universe. Once you've placed your order clearly and with feeling, do you stand in the kitchen of the restaurant, anxiously watching the cook, constantly asking when your meal will be ready? Of course not. You sit down, relax, and trust that your order is being prepared. You might even forget about it completely until it arrives at your table. This is exactly how manifestation works. Place your order through your imagination and feeling, then go about your life in joy and trust, knowing your order is being filled. Allowing means trusting that the universe knows how to deliver your desires better than you do. It means releasing control over the details and surrendering to the wisdom of consciousness. This isn't passive. It's the most active thing you can do, because you're actively aligning with the creative force of the universe. Trust is perhaps the highest vibration you can maintain while waiting for your desires to manifest. Trust says, I know the universe has my back. I know that what I want wants me too. I know that everything is working out for my highest good. But trust is not just blind faith. It's based on understanding the laws of consciousness. When you truly understand that consciousness is the only reality, that your imagination creates your world, that what you assume to be true becomes true in your experience, then trust becomes natural. You don't have to trust that the law will work. You know it works because you've seen it work countless times in your life. Every circumstance in your current reality was first imagined by you. You are always manifesting, always creating through your assumptions and beliefs. The question is not whether the law works, but whether you're using it consciously or unconsciously. Trust also means trusting yourself, trusting your ability to imagine, to feel, to assume, trusting that you are worthy of your desires, trusting that you have the power to create the life you want. This self-trust is magnetic to manifestation because it eliminates doubt and resistance. One of the greatest obstacles to detachment is our obsession with timing. We want what we want, and we want it now. But time, as we experience it, is an illusion of the physical senses. In consciousness, in the realm where creation actually takes place, everything exists simultaneously. Your desire is not in your future. It exists now in consciousness. Your job is not to bring it from the future into the present, but to step into the dimension of consciousness where it already exists and live from that state. This shift in perception changes everything. Instead of waiting for your good to come to you, you realize you can step into your good right now through your imagination and assumption. The physical manifestation is simply the shadow cast by your inner state. Time is also flexible in consciousness. What seems like it should take years can happen in moments when you're in the right state. What seems impossible can become inevitable when you shift your assumption. Don't let linear time limit your faith in what's possible. Here's a profound truth. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This means you can assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled right now, regardless of current circumstances. And that assumption will eventually externalize as your reality. But here's where detachment becomes crucial. You must assume your desire fulfilled, and then release your grip on making it happen in the physical world. Hold the assumption lightly, but persistently. Live in the feeling of it being true without desperately needing to see immediate evidence. Most people assume their desire fulfilled for a few minutes during visualization, then spend the rest of their day assuming their current circumstances are the final reality. This creates a tug-of-war in consciousness that prevents manifestation. Instead, carry the assumption of your fulfilled desire lightly throughout your day. When contrary evidence appears, don't fight it. Simply remember your assumption and return to the feeling of having what you want. This is sacred detachment in action. Your assumptions are constantly creating your reality. Every assumption you make about yourself, about others, about life, becomes true in your experience. When you realize this power, you become very careful about what you assume. You choose assumptions that serve you rather than limit you. There's a particular state of consciousness I call the receiving mode. This is when you're completely open to your good, without resistance, without trying to control how it comes, without timeline demands. In this state, you're like a flower that has opened to receive the morning sun, receptive, allowing, trusting. How do you get into this receiving mode? Through appreciation, through joy, through focusing on what's already wonderful in your life. When you're appreciating what you have, you're not in the vibration of lack. When you're enjoying your current moment, you're not desperately grasping for a different moment. This doesn't mean you become complacent or stop having desires. It means you learn to enjoy the journey while you're traveling to your destination. You learn to be happy now, which is the fastest way to manifest more happiness. The receiving mode is characterized by a sense of ease, of flow, of natural expectation. You expect good things to come to you because you know you're worthy of them. You expect opportunities to appear because you trust in the abundance of the universe. You expect miracles because you understand that miracles are natural when you're aligned with the creative force of life. When you're truly detached, there's a deep peace that settles over you. This peace is magnetic. It draws your desires to you without effort. Peace says, I am complete as I am, and anything that comes to me is a bonus. This energy is irresistible to the universe. Contrast this with the energy of desperation, which says, I am incomplete without this thing, and I'll do anything to get it. This energy actually pushes things away because it's based on the vibration of lack. The most powerful manifestors I've known have been those who desired deeply but held lightly. They cared about their dreams, but didn't depend on them for their happiness. They were excited about their future, but content with their present. Inner peace is not the absence of desire, it's the presence of trust. It's knowing that everything you need will come to you in perfect timing. It's resting in the certainty that you are supported by the universe in ways you can't even imagine. Sacred detachment is not about killing your desires or pretending you don't want what you want. Your desires are sacred. They're the universe calling you toward expansion and growth. But once you've launched a desire, once you've asked for what you want through your imagination, your job is to get into alignment with receiving it. Think of it as a cosmic dance. First, you desire, this is the asking. Then you imagine it fulfilled, this is the ordering. Then you live in the feeling of having it while detaching from the how and when, this is the allowing. Finally, you receive, this is the manifestation. Most people get stuck between the ordering and allowing phases. They place their order, but then micromanage the universe, constantly checking on the progress, worrying about the delivery time, trying to control every detail of how it should come. This is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. The constant interference prevents the natural process from unfolding. Trust the seed, trust the soil, trust the sun, trust the rain. Your job is to plant and then allow. Resistance is the only thing that slows down manifestation. When you resist what is, when you fight against current circumstances, when you push against unwanted situations, you create more of what you don't want. Non-resistance doesn't mean passive acceptance of everything. It means not spending your energy fighting what is, but instead focusing on what you want to create. It means saying, this is where I am now, but this is not where I'm going. When you stop resisting what is, you free up tremendous energy that can be redirected toward creating what you want. Resistance is exhausting. Non-resistance is energizing. When you're not fighting the current moment, you have all your power available for creating the next moment. Here's a practical tool for maintaining detachment. Learn to selectively attend to only what supports your desire. This doesn't mean denying reality or living in delusion. It means choosing what you give your attention to. Your attention is your creative power. Whatever you consistently attend to becomes your reality. If you constantly focus on the absence of your desire, you create more absence. If you consistently focus on the having of your desire, you create more having. This requires discipline at first, but it becomes natural with practice. When you notice your mind dwelling on lack, gently redirect it to abundance. When you catch yourself worrying about timing, redirect to trust. When you find yourself controlling, redirect to allowing. Selective attention is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about not giving your creative power to things you don't want to expand in your life. It's about being deliberate with your focus, because you understand that focus creates reality. One of the most powerful states you can maintain is what I call grateful expectation. This is being thankful for your desire before it manifests physically, combined with joyful expectation of its arrival. This state combines the best of both worlds, the high vibration of gratitude with the magnetic power of expectation. You're not desperately waiting, you're joyfully expecting. You're not impatiently demanding, you're gratefully anticipating. Practice saying, thank you for my desire that is now manifesting in perfect timing. Feel the truth of this statement. Your desire is always manifesting, if not physically, then at least in consciousness. And consciousness is the only reality. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can maintain. When you're grateful, you're acknowledging the good that's already in your life, which magnetizes more good to you. Expectation is also a high vibration. It's faith in motion, confidence in the unseen, trust in the process. When you truly master detachment, your manifestations begin to appear effortlessly. Opportunities seem to find you. People offer you exactly what you need. Doors open without you having to knock them down. This is not luck. This is the law in perfect operation. Effortless manifestation happens when there's no resistance in you, no contradiction between what you want and what you believe you can have. When your desire and your belief are in perfect harmony, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. But effort and struggle indicate misalignment. They signal that you're trying to force something to happen rather than allowing it to unfold. The moment you find yourself struggling to make something happen, stop and realign yourself with the feeling of already having it. Effortless doesn't mean actionless. You may still take action, but it will be inspired action, not desperate action. Inspired action feels light, natural, exciting. Desperate action feels heavy, forced, exhausting. Learn to distinguish between the two. Everything has its season, its perfect timing. A seed planted in winter won't grow until spring, no matter how much you water it or how desperately you want flowers. Similarly, your desires have their perfect timing for manifestation. This doesn't mean you're powerless over timing. Your state of consciousness absolutely affects how quickly things manifest. The more aligned you are, the faster things come. But sometimes, what appears to be delay is actually the universe orchestrating the perfect circumstances for your desire to manifest in an even better way than you imagined. Trust the timing. Trust that if your desire hasn't manifested yet, it's because something even better is being prepared, or because you're being prepared to receive something even better. Divine timing is not about the universe withholding your good from you. It's about everything coming together in the most perfect way for your highest good. Sometimes things need to align in ways you can't see or understand before your desire can manifest fully. When you truly understand that you are complete and whole right now, that your worth and happiness don't depend on getting any particular thing, you experience the most profound liberation. From this place of freedom, you can desire without desperation, want without need, prefer without attachment. This doesn't make you indifferent, quite the opposite. It makes you powerfully creative, because you're no longer creating from lack, but from wholeness. You're not trying to fill a void, but expressing your natural abundance. Non-attachment liberates you from the tyranny of outcomes. You're no longer a victim of circumstances, because your peace doesn't depend on things being a certain way. You become unshakable, because your security comes from within, not from external conditions. When you embody sacred detachment, it affects every area of your life. Relationships become easier, because you're not desperately needing anything from others. Money flows more freely, because you're not gripping it with fear. Opportunities multiply, because you're open to receiving from unexpected sources. Detachment makes you magnetic to all good things, because you're no longer pushing them away with your desperation. You become a person that life wants to support, that the universe wants to shower with blessings. People can feel your energy of detachment, and it's attractive. It says, I'm complete as I am, but I'm open to sharing and receiving. This energy draws people to you because it's not needy or demanding. It's confident and secure. The ultimate realization is this. You already are everything you want to be. You already have everything you could ever need. Your desires are not about getting something you lack. They're about expressing more of what you already are. When you realize that you are consciousness itself, that you are the creative power of the universe individualized, that you are one with the source of all good, then detachment becomes not just possible, but inevitable. How can you be desperate for something when you realize you are everything? This is not spiritual bypassing, or pretending you don't have human desires. It's recognizing the deeper truth behind all desires. They're all expressions of your infinite nature, seeking to experience itself more fully. True mastery comes when you can choose your emotional state, regardless of circumstances. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending to feel something you don't. It means understanding that you have the power to shift your state through conscious choice. When you notice yourself in a state of attachment or desperation, you can consciously shift to a state of detachment and trust. This is not about forcing yourself to feel different, but about gently guiding your attention to thoughts that feel better. Emotional mastery is like physical fitness. It requires practice and consistency. The more you practice choosing states that serve you, the easier it becomes. Eventually, detachment becomes your natural state, not something you have to work at. Now let me explain the role of faith in detachment. Faith is not belief in something you can't see. It's knowing something is true, regardless of evidence. When you have faith in your desires, you don't need to see them to know they're real. You don't need proof, because you have inner knowing. This kind of faith makes detachment natural. When you know something is already done in consciousness, you don't desperately need to see it in the physical world. You can rest in the certainty of your inner knowing. Faith and detachment support each other. The more faith you have, the easier it is to detach. The more you detach, the stronger your faith becomes. They create a positive cycle that accelerates manifestation. Now, how do you live this teaching in your daily life? Start each day by connecting with the feeling of your desires fulfilled, then release them into the hands of the universe. Throughout your day, whenever you notice attachment or desperation arising, breathe deeply and return to trust. Practice seeing yourself as someone who already has what you want. Make decisions from that identity. Speak from that identity. Act from that identity. But do all of this without the frantic energy of someone trying to prove something to the world or to yourself. At night, before sleep, review your day and notice where you were attached and where you were detached. Celebrate the moments of detachment and gently correct the moments of attachment without judgment. This practice builds the muscle of sacred detachment over time. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has learned the art of holding their dreams lightly while believing in them deeply. You're part of an ancient tradition of conscious creators who understand the power of detachment. When you embody this teaching, you become a beacon of possibility for others. Your peace and confidence inspire others to trust their own dreams. Your detachment gives others permission to release their desperate grip on outcomes. You become part of the solution to the world's problems because you're no longer adding to the energy of desperation and fear. You're contributing to the field of trust and allowing that makes miracles possible for everyone. Life is not a finite game where you win or lose, get what you want or don't. It's an infinite game where the purpose is to keep playing, to keep expanding, to keep creating. From this perspective, every desire is just another way to play, another way to experience the joy of creation. When you understand that life is an infinite game, detachment becomes natural. You're not desperate to win because there's no way to lose. You're not in a hurry because there's no finish line. You're not competing because there's room for everyone to have everything they want. This perspective transforms desire from desperate need to playful creation. You want things because it's fun to want them, not because you need them to be happy. This shift in perspective is the ultimate detachment. Develop a daily practice that reinforces this truth. Each morning, connect with the feeling of your desire fulfilled, then release it into the loving hands of the universe. Throughout your day, whenever you notice attachment arising, breathe deeply and return to your natural state of wholeness. Live as though your desire is already yours, but don't strain to make it appear. Act from the assumption that it's done, but don't force the universe to prove it to you. This balance of knowing and allowing is the essence of sacred detachment. Create rituals that support your practice. Light a candle and imagine releasing your desires into the flame. Write your desires on paper and then burn them as a symbol of release. Take walks in nature and practice feeling connected to the abundant creativity of life. When you're properly detached, you'll notice that signs and synchronicities begin to appear naturally in your life. But here's the key. Don't desperately search for these signs as proof that your manifestation is coming. Signs are breadcrumbs from consciousness, gentle confirmations that you're on the right path, but they're not the meal itself. Enjoy the signs when they appear, but don't become addicted to them. Some of my greatest manifestations came with no signs at all. They simply appeared when the time was right, when my consciousness was properly prepared to receive them. Signs and synchronicities are the universe's way of winking at you, of letting you know that magic is afoot. But remember, the real magic is happening in consciousness, not in the external world. The external signs are just reflections of the inner transformation. Money is one of the areas where attachment causes the most suffering. People grip money with fear, hoard it, worry about it, let it define their worth. But money, like everything else, flows most freely when you hold it lightly. Sacred detachment with money means appreciating what you have while being open to receiving more. It means spending from abundance rather than scarcity. It means trusting that there's always enough for everyone, including you. This doesn't mean being irresponsible with money or not caring about financial security. It means recognizing that your security comes from your connection to the infinite source of all supply, not from the amount in your bank account. When you detach from money anxiety, you make clearer financial decisions. When you're not desperately trying to get money, opportunities to earn it naturally appear. When you trust in abundance, abundance trusts in you. Sacred detachment profoundly impacts your physical health and vitality. When you're not constantly stressed about outcomes, your nervous system can relax. When you're not fighting reality, your body can heal. When you trust the process of life, your life force can flow freely. This doesn't mean not caring about your health or not taking action to improve it. It means not being attached to your body being perfect, not panicking about every symptom, not defining yourself by your physical limitations. Detachment allows your body's natural healing intelligence to function optimally. Stress and worry interfere with this intelligence, but peace and trust support it. When you detach from health anxiety, you often find that your health naturally improves. Sacred detachment transforms all your relationships. When you're not desperately needing anything from others, they feel free to give to you. When you're not trying to control how others behave, they naturally want to please you. When you're complete within yourself, others are drawn to your wholeness. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent in relationships. It means loving without conditions, giving without expecting returns, sharing without keeping score. This kind of love is magnetic because it's not based on need but on abundance. In romantic relationships, detachment allows love to flow freely. In business relationships, it creates trust and respect. In family relationships, it brings peace and harmony. Detachment is the secret to all successful relationships because it removes the pressure and allows natural connection to flourish. Sacred detachment also transforms your relationship with creativity and work. When you're not desperately attached to outcomes, you can take inspired risks. When you're not afraid of failure, you can attempt great things. When you're not dependent on external validation, you can create from your authentic self. This doesn't mean not caring about quality or success. It means caring so much about the process of creation that you're willing to let go of control over the results. It means trusting that when you create from a place of joy and authenticity, the results will naturally be aligned with your highest good. Detachment in creativity means being willing to let your work be what it wants to be, rather than forcing it to be what you think it should be. This allows for surprises, for breakthrough moments, for creations that exceed your expectations. Tonight, I invite you to experiment with this teaching. Choose one desire that you've been holding too tightly, one dream that you've been forcing with anxious energy. For the next 30 days, practice sacred detachment with this desire. Each day, spend a few minutes imagining it fulfilled, feeling it as real, knowing it as yours. Then release it completely. Don't check on its progress. Don't worry about the timing. Don't try to make it happen. Simply live from the assumption that it's already done and trust the universe to deliver it in the perfect way and time. Notice what begins to shift in your world when you stop strangling your dreams with desperation. Observe how much more peaceful and joyful you become when you're not constantly monitoring your manifestations. Watch how life begins to support you in ways you never expected when you allow rather than force. My beloved friends, I promise you this: when you master the art of sacred detachment, your entire life will transform. You'll move from being a person who chases dreams to a person who magnetically attracts their perfect life. You'll shift from effort to ease, from struggle to flow, from desperation to divine trust. Your desires will manifest not because you forced them to, but because you allowed them to. You'll realize that you were never separate from what you wanted. You were only separate from the feeling of having it. And when you reclaim that feeling and hold it lightly, the whole universe conspires to make it your physical reality. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Every moment you choose detachment over attachment, trust over fear, allowing over forcing, you're moving closer to mastery. Every time you catch yourself gripping too tightly and consciously release, you're building the muscle of sacred detachment. When you embody sacred detachment, the ripple effects extend far beyond your personal life. You become a force for healing in the world because you're no longer adding to the collective anxiety and desperation. You become a beacon of possibility because you demonstrate that it's possible to desire deeply while holding lightly. Your family feels more peaceful around you because you're not projecting your fears and attachments onto them. Your community benefits from your trust and confidence. The world becomes a little bit more loving because you've learned to love without conditions. This is how consciousness heals the world. One person at a time, learning to embody their highest nature, one individual at a time, discovering their power to create through love rather than fear. When you master detachment, you leave a legacy of possibility for future generations. You prove that it's possible to live with joy regardless of circumstances, to love without fear, to create without desperation. Your children and grandchildren will carry the imprint of your mastery, even if they never consciously understand what you've accomplished. Your peace becomes part of the morphic field of human consciousness, making it easier for others to find their own peace. This is the ultimate service, becoming so aligned with the truth of your being that you naturally lift others through your presence. This is how the world transforms, not through force or struggle, but through individuals who embody the change they wish to see. Remember, what is yours cannot pass you by. What belongs to you in consciousness must manifest in your experience. Your only job is to embody the state of having it, then detach from the process of receiving it. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust consciousness. And most importantly, trust yourself to hold your desires with the sacred detachment that allows miracles to unfold naturally and effortlessly. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and everything you could ever want already exists there. Stop looking outside for what can only be given from within. Rest in this truth, detach from the appearance of delay, and watch your world transform in ways that will amaze and delight you beyond your wildest imagination. This is the art of sacred detachment, and it is your birthright as a conscious creator. Claim it, practice it, live it, and watch your dreams become your reality through the gentle power of allowing. Tonight, as you go to sleep, carry with you the deep knowing that everything you desire is already yours in consciousness. Feel it, know it, trust it, then release it into the loving hands of the universe. Sleep in peace, knowing that while you rest, consciousness is working on your behalf to manifest your heart's deepest desires. Tomorrow, wake up as the person who already has what you want, but don't strain to make it appear. Live from that assumption, but don't force the universe to prove it to you. This is the dance of creation, assuming and releasing, knowing and allowing, desiring and detaching. Good night, my friends. Sleep in the consciousness of your fulfilled desires, and wake up tomorrow, ready to let them manifest through the beautiful art of sacred detachment.